Grey's Anatomy. What's the name of the actress in Grey's Anatomy?
Catherine Heigl?
Yeah. Izzy. She just got her haircut. Anyway, so my friend Brittany contacted me last September, and we talked briefly by phone, and then she sent me this diatribe electronically with all of her questions, which I thought was great. She was very thoughtful, very deliberate about considering this opportunity. So she says that on September 19th, I have discussed the subject with both my boyfriend and parents, all of whom are here this evening, so I look forward to meeting you. And I seem to have their support that I need to proceed. I must admit my boyfriend and father are not exactly thrilled with my decision, but understand that this is something I am meant to do. My mother is completely supportive, but only worries about me compromising my own health. This is something I've felt compelled to do for the last 2 years. And so that last statement really stopped me. I thought, you have been compelled for the past 2 years. And I thought, she's not a particularly aged person who has acquired a lot of wisdom over her years. And so I replied to her, answering all of her questions, and said, can you share with me why you feel so compelled to do this? And she said that I became interested in live kidney donation when a worker of mine had lost a kidney from complications of running the Boston Marathon. Her remaining kidney does have some issues, but she fails to let this stop her live the life she wants. She returned back to school and is now a nurse practitioner in the Tufts Neurology Department. Her ordeal made me inquire a little bit more about live donation, and I've been thinking about it ever since. So I thought that she was really very thoughtful, and interestingly, when she came forward, she did not come forward with a directed donation, so she did not have an intended recipient. She just came forward, as Merle mentioned, we had 4, to be what we call an altruistic donor or a stranger donor. I think the public is far ahead of us in the healthcare field. I think when I see an altruistic donor, my antennae go up, we all have an increased level of suspicion, and we really are very cautious in how we evaluate them. And she is here to say that this wasn't that difficult a decision for her to make, and so in addition to being a kidney donor, she's an altruistic donor, and because she didn't have a directed recipient, she was able to participate in an exchange, so more than one person benefited from transplant because of her. And so I thought she was a wonderful person to really share her story. So please welcome Brittany.
I decided to go skiing 6 weeks after my surgery against the advice of my mother, my doctor, and Denise, and I decided to protect my one kidney by wrapping myself in bubble wrap. So I skied the black diamonds in bubble wrap. Thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is Brittany Lund. I'm a pediatric medical assistant, and I'm also a nursing student at Lawrence Memorial Regis. I just celebrated my 29th birthday, and on January 24th this year I became an altruistic kidney donor. I began looking into live organ donation, as Denise said, 2.5 years before my surgery. At first I only told a few co-workers of my interests, and I quickly learned that most people look at you like you're crazy. So I decided to keep my research in private and did not tell anyone about my decision until after I spoke with Denise in Lahey's transplant department. When I was confident that I was going to donate, I told only my immediate family members and my boyfriend. Telling my parents and boyfriend I was giving my kidney to a stranger was the most difficult part of donating. My father, who's the toughest man I know, was visibly upset before my surgery. He called me one night crying to let me know how worried he was, but also how proud he was of me. And I can't recall the last time in my life I've ever seen him cry. And my mother, who's been in the medical field for over 25 years, she was nervous, as any mother would be, but she's also extremely supportive of my decision. She pulled up every article and statistical analysis of live organ donation that Google would find, and she added to my list of questions to ask Denise. So by the time I got to meet Dr. Sorcini, my surgeon, my only question I had left was, can I paint my nails? My boyfriend, on the other hand, kept quiet about his thoughts and emotions. He voiced his concerns a few times, told me to donate my liver because it grows back. And he didn't know why I was doing it, but he did know that no matter what he said, I was going to do it anyways. Because of all the research I did, I was confident I knew all the risks and complications that could arise from my surgery, and I decided it was something I still wanted to do. I somehow felt compelled to donate my kidney, and I couldn't explain why. It just baffled me that a piece of my body could fit and work inside someone that I had no relation to. Most people only think about donating to a relative, and here I was donating to a person I'd never meet, and somehow it didn't bother me. I didn't care if this person was loved by hundreds or had a close relationship to God like I do. I had to accept that this person might be different and not live their life the way I see fit. And even after receiving my kidney, still not living the life I would. And in the worst case scenario, I could go through with the surgery and it could be unsuccessful on both ends. My recovery after surgery was quicker and less painful than I expected. I spent 3 days in the hospital being doted on by wonderful nurses, and all the while begging them to sneak me food because I was starving from my liquid-only diet. I was told that the man I donated to was recovering well, and that's all I needed to make me happy. Word spread fast through friends and family that I was in the hospital, and I was shocked at the outreach I received from people after my donation. I did not share my story with many people prior to my surgery because I was scared about what they would say. I was nervous on how people would react, but I was shocked that instead of judging me, people were reaching out and supporting my decision, even asking what they could do to help in my recovery. I had never told my in-laws I was donating my kidney, but my boyfriend did what any good man does. He told his parents about my decision to donate, and then told them to pretend they didn't know. I was petrified of my father-in-law's reaction if he ever found out. He's a big biker. Surprisingly, he told my boyfriend the morning of my surgery he wished me luck. The following day, he asked my mother-in-law what he could donate. Mind you, my father-in-law at the time was on hospice with congestive heart failure. He was not walking and barely eating. My mother-in-law took one look at him and said, "Honey, there is nothing left on you they can use unless you donate your ponytail." Never in my wildest dreams would I have guessed that the man I feared most was one of my biggest supporters. Just knowing I made one person think about organ donation made me open up and be proud to tell people about my experience. Sadly, I never got to talk to my father-in-law myself about my surgery. He died 3 days later as I was getting discharged. His passing as my recipient recovered opened my boyfriend's eyes. Sorry, it makes me emotional. His passing as my recipient recovered opened my boyfriend's eyes and helped him realize what I was trying to do. I was trying to help a family avoid the same pain that his mother were now experiencing. The devastating loss of a loved one because they didn't get an organ they so desperately needed and deserved. We're blessed to have my father-in-law for an extra 15 years after his first major heart attack. But what if he got a new heart and we could have had more time? One thing I learned from my father-in-law's death is that that life can be given just as fast as it can be taken, and that every moment we spend with our loved ones is a moment we should cherish. My life hasn't changed much physically since my donation. I still go to the gym and enjoy much outside activity as the spring allows me. And I still drink in moderation on the weekends with my friends. More water now. I even recovered fast enough to go skiing 6 weeks later. But there was a big part of me that did change, something on the inside. I now feel somehow connected to someone I'll never know. I feel that we fit together and that he can feel certain things about me. It's so weird. I feel like he can sense my love for gardening or my obsession with fresh smoothies. I also feel a greater appreciation for life. I'm able to see the true beauty it holds. I'm aware of how lucky I am to have my health and to be able to do all of the physical activities that I want. I have learned not to take my health for granted like so many people do, and I also feel close to my friends and my family. The support they've shown during my recovery was and still is amazing. I started out not wanting anyone to know I donated my kidney, but now I'm so proud to speak about my decision to be an altruistic donor. It wasn't an easy decision. I made it look easy, but it wasn't. And it's not the right decision for everyone. Most people will agree that donating is not a decision to take lightly. Not only do you have to take responsibility for all possible outcomes, but you must ask your family and friends to accept these risks as well. I was not aware of all the emotions I would feel through this whole process, and could not imagine doing it without the support of my best friend, boyfriend, and parents. I didn't feel like a hero or like I saved a life. I just felt like I helped someone in need, and it was actually a very humbling experience. I encourage everyone to look into organ donation. I'm not saying that everyone should donate their kidney, but to please take a moment and look into other things you can do to help people in medical crisis. Doctors are not the only people who have the power to heal. They can only do so much through medications and treatment. Everyone holds the power to make a difference. Every person here holds the potential to help someone in need. You can make a difference through apheresis, donating blood, part of your liver, or a kidney like me. And if you're like my father-in-law, who has nothing valuable and still wants to help others, you can help people out by offering to give rides to patients on dialysis, or keep them company while they're receiving treatments. I'm so happy with my decision to become an organ donor that I hope to join Lahey's amazing team of transplant surgeons when I graduate nursing school. I found the rewards greater than the risk. I'm blessed to have met Lahey's transplant team, and I had a talented team of surgeons and wonderful and caring nurses who were there for every up and down. I also made a new friend who's by my side the whole way, Denise. She's one of the most awe-inspiring women I've ever met. She goes above and beyond for her patients, and you can just see the love she has for her job. She made my surgery a lot less scary and a lot more fun and exciting. And I thank God for putting such a wonderful person in my life. I can't imagine doing this process with anybody else. I have no regrets with my decision. My parents raised me with the golden rule to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. They've taught me to put myself out there even if there is no reward for your good deed. My mother always says your reward is in heaven. And to my recipient, whoever you may be, I wish you well. I hope your recovery was as fast and easy as mine. I hope you get to enjoy more time with people you love and more time doing whatever in life makes you happy. And also, thank you. Thank you for giving me one of the most memorable and rewarding experiences of my life. I will remember January 24th of this year for the rest of my life. And if we should ever pass each other in the streets, there is no doubt in my mind that you will know who I am.
She's hired.